Hello, welcome back to another vlog. Don't ask about the unicorn. All questions related to that can go to my sister. But anyway, this is going to be an exciting video because we're going to be talking a little bit about books, writing, but then also going on a couple adventures since it is summertime. We'll have some fun. The month of July is going to be challenge month, meaning there will be a writing challenge that me and my sister are doing. So she gives writing prompts and I give writing prompts to her for us to kind of get creative juices flowing. So she gave me one a few weeks ago that I've been working on, almost have the first full chapter of it done. And then I also gave one to her as well. We also have plans to go to the beach, so probably get ready to go do that right now. So we'll see you down there. For now though, let's go make a quick purchase. Alright, so ended up getting the Top Fin Underwater World's 5-gallon all-in-one kit because it comes with literally everything that you need. It comes with a net, a filter, some water conditioner, some of the extra filters, and then this is, of course, like I said, it's a 5-gallon tank, so it's a great amount of space for a Betta. And oh wait, actually here it shows everything that comes with it. It also comes with the top, which is important because Bettas can jump out, and that's not good. So yeah, it comes with all those things, and this was actually a really good deal. Today began a deal where it was pretty much almost half off, I would say. It was really good timing. All right, now we're gonna go to the beach. Now that we're back home, going to bake some cookies, and these are just the recipe on the back of the Ghirardelli bag, which I found out is the same recipe for the ones on the back of the Toll House bag. So we're gonna make those, but going to do a variation where, since I don't have enough Ghirardelli, just regular dark chocolate chips, I'm going to crush up some, like a raspberry chocolate bar as well, and put that in there. So it'll be like raspberry chip cookies. It should be good. And then Peyton has made some pretzels, like from scratch. She said it took her 4 hours. So we got those as well. About to finish the chapter and just finishing up writing this final scene, and for some reason it is so difficult, probably because we're almost there and the chapter's almost complete, and it's just going to take a couple more sentences, but the brain is not braining right now. However, I'm determined to finish it before getting up from this desk. We'll crank something out and then have it completed, submit it in for a review, and then work out some kinks later, I guess. I got so excited I thought I was done, and then I realized I needed to name name of a sea or something like that, and then I'll be done. So this can be a helpful book sometimes when trying to create a world or do story art, concept art. So since I have to name that the thing in my chapter before I finish, I'm going to try to look for some inspiration real quick. Could probably change it later, but this is really good for drawing new maps, creating your world, and getting writing inspiration. Now I'm going to put it all in a document, so that way, also display this. So that way it's all in one place, and then I'm going to print it out, give the printed copy to Peyton since it's her writing prompt, and then submit it digitally to someone to give me feedback. But this will be the first chapter. Okay, so this first chapter, a little over 4,000 words, which I think is fairly good for one chapter. Alright, testing to see if this little microphone works. I really hope it does because it would be kind of cool. This morning, a super early meeting, and I need to go to the library, but I've got a few minutes before they actually open since it's so early in the morning. So we're going to walk at the park for a little bit, but last night Peyton got the writing prompt. So I've got that here. I'll have to send this in today for review. She has some good things to say and actually gave me some book recommendations as a result of that because it reminded her of them, I guess. So for the next book, since I'm kind of in between books right now, I'm either going to start The Sword and the Stone, just because that's a classic and I've never read it before. Just watched the Disney movie and cartoon. Or I will be reading China Cry, which is actually true story based. But the one that Peyton, my sister, recommended for me to read, she raves about this book all the time, and she was telling me a little bit about it, kind of like a summary, so I'm interested, and will most likely start reading this. Alright, sorry, the audio definitely cut out of that. I was trying to say that there was a man that pulled up in the spot beside me, and I was embarrassed to film in public. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to walk around for a little bit before we go to the library. And then we'll go home because there's a couple books to talk about. Alright, we're going to try the mini mics again. So this year has been really weird book-wise. Normally I keep everything organized in this book journal that I made last year, which I have a video on that, with like a page or spread for each book. But because this year in books has been kind of crazy, I've not done that. So like this one, you have the friendship between Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, that book, and then you've just got some random decorations and quotes or summaries, thoughts that you had for it. But because this year has been really weird, I've just had to kind of make a list of all of the books that have been read so far. And then maybe since it's the second half of the year, I can go back to start doing spreads for each of them. This is an example of how much I've not done. So you have like January, I started doing it a little bit, but then the rest of the year is just I'm writing out each book specifically. And some of the recent ones from the past month have been good. A couple of them were audiobooks, so I don't really know how much that counts as reading because you're just listening. Well, I guess that kind of answers the question. You're not reading, so it's just listening. But a couple of them have been audiobooks. The rest of them have been print. One of them was called If the Ocean Has a Soul, which was interesting because it was based on this marine biologist and her experience kind of diving in the ocean, researching, looking at creation from a Christian perspective, which I would warn against this book just specifically because some of the things that she says might not necessarily line up. So just if you decide to read that one, be very careful. For things like that, you always want to measure it up with scripture and scripture's authority, not just because someone says something. Another one that I read was Surprised by Joy, which is about C.S. Lewis and kind of his almost a little bit of his conversion story. So that was really interesting just because his writing is super cool and you get to kind of see his thought process go from being an atheist to being a Christian and being a believer. And although it is C.S. Lewis, so some of it was a little bit difficult to understand, overall it was really good. And then one other audiobook was Gentle and Lowly, which, oh my gosh, this book devoured, even though it was an audiobook. Listened to it almost nonstop just because it talks about how Jesus relates to sinners and the compassion he has and just his character in general. And so I would definitely recommend Gentle and Lowly. It was 5 stars. And I actually we'll probably read it again soon. And then Emily's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This one probably have been a lot more enjoyable had I just read it from start to finish without so many stops. I think it took me months to read this one, and all of those breaks were not good for this story. So I can't really say anything much about it just because of all of that, but I think it is a really fun idea and a fun world to be in. It's a cute little fantasy, so probably won't read it again ever, but I think it would have been better if I just kind of was immersed in the story in a much shorter period of time and didn't take so many breaks reading other things. And then, like I said, next in the lineup is probably Caraval. I think it's Caraval. Have to ask Peyton. So I'm really excited to read this one and see how it goes. I actually did read the first chapter. It's just like a few letters that she writes to the circus master person, but have a few things to do this afternoon that will require waiting rooms, so I'll try to read another chapter or two. Got the easy part out of the way. Our part is going to be reading the instructions. It says to read and follow all safety instructions. Basically, just don't plug it in if it's wet or has water anywhere on the outside, so have to rinse it out completely. Set it up like you want it, which right now I don't have any substrate, so it's just going to be kind of plain for a while before we get some of that. And then just have to figure out how the filter part works. So, since we're actually going to do this right, the first thing is to attach the strainer to the extension tube and attach extension tube to water inlet. We'll figure that out. This is the strainer. We attach this to that part somehow. Okay, not like that. Got that on the extension part. Can go in and out like that. The impeller goes into the impeller housing, and then I think it goes inside there. Loop that on. So this little thing slides in there. It goes above the cartridges, which every new cartridge you get, you need to rinse thoroughly with water, so I'm about to do that for this one. But it fits in there like that, and then the top will go on there when we put it in the tank. We're going to transfer him from his temporary home to that when it gets all done. But I have to figure out a way to get the plant out first, I think. Wish us luck. It's really cool because you can actually hear him chomping on those fish food flakes are in person. You probably can't pick it up over the camera, but it's amazing. He's pretty hungry because he came right up to the surface when I came in here. Hello. He eats about 2 to 3 times a day. Look at those fins. He's really pretty. So Hero has been doing pretty well so far. Here he is right now. He is liking his tank. We still have not been able to get more decorations yet though, but he's at least getting more used to having the space and swimming around in it. I think he might actually be hungry, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and feed him. So pretty. I hear him working outside. They're tearing up the deck in the backyard, so that's why the rabbits are like, oh, what's going on? But that is about all for this vlog, so thank you so very much for watching and coming along. Make sure to like and subscribe if you wish, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.